This is Tyler Royke. I'm here with my co-host Jimmy Doolin. You're listening to ABC Agent Broker Conversations, where we talk all things real estate. And Jimmy, how is everything going, man?
Good, thanks. Had a nice weekend. Had a nice week. Interesting wrapping up a year and starting a new one. We put so much emphasis on what the calendar says. It's fascinating how people will actually postpone doing things that improve their lives for the beginning of the year. So, and hey, I'm as guilty as the next person. I mean, my son uses this Whoop. Are you familiar with these things, Tyler?
Yeah, I heard about it. I don't know if I really know much about it though.
Well, it's pretty fascinating. It basically is after three things, and it's strain on your body, so it's exercise, right? Um, it is after the rest, the recovery side, sleep. What's the third one? I think it's I don't know. Oh man, I'm so new to it. I just got it yesterday. It's sleep, recovery, and strain. So it's those are the three main things that track. So it's kind of funny because I waited until the end of the year to order it, as if January 1st made a difference in the world of getting, being healthier, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm one of those naturally pudgy guys, so I've been on this constant life's journey of trying to improve myself. So anyway, I'm pretty fascinated. I'm interested in what this thing's what it's gonna do and tell. But in talking to agents too, I find that so many people start something January 1st that they could have started weeks, months, days, whatever ago, but just held off because of the first of the year. Do you see that?
It seemed like it. Well, I don't know if January 1st is the actual date though, because it seems like a lot of people take that specific day off. That or they're hitting the phones trying to get an expired listing. But a lot of people, I think they're waiting a little bit past the first to start whatever they were intending for the new year.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe not the day,
yeah.
but the start of the year. Like people feel like it's the start of the year. I have to do X or Y or Z, right?
Yeah, I think it's I was hearing someone was talking about this on another show I was listening to. But I think there's two like natural resets for everyone, if that's the word for it. There's the new year, so a new year, and then also their birthday. It kind of, it puts you into a frame of mind like, okay, another year just went by. I got to get serious about doing this thing I haven't really done up to this point. So that's probably all it is. It's just a mental thing.
Yeah, it's just interesting how we're kind of programmed beginning of the year to start something new, to make a change. I mean, obviously, it's very relevant. I mean, it's very real, or every gym under the sun wouldn't have a sale at the beginning of the year, right? That whole New Year's resolution thing is very, very real. So, well, listen, last week we were talking about agent attraction, and you had a goal of 80, and I guess when I walked away from our call last week, I felt like you were pretty inspired by that, pretty passionate about this 2025 plan and the course and the program that you subscribe to. So, I found that interesting. And I know that when we have something we believe in, we're so much more likely to accomplish it, right? I mean, there's so much more. It's on our radar, and we're going to do so much more when we have a program or a plan that we can actually buy into. So I went and looked at that plan that you had talked about. Now I'm trying to think of what it was called. Was it Attract ROI?
Yeah, the platform, that's the platform. I mean, it's basically a CRM.
Yeah, so I went and looked at that, and I guess that's tied to I forget the agent's name, but tied to him, and he does classes and does events where you can attend the event to learn more about what they're doing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, I just went and looked at it. I had lunch with my coach, or so when I was in production, my last year in production, my coach and I, well, second to last year, so 2007 was my last full year of production. 2006, I made phone calls. I took my entire database, divided it out, and called every single client. And we had a fall on the sword script that I did. And basically, I would call you and say, "Hey, Tyler, Jimmy Doolin, does the name ring a bell?" And these were people that I knew and that I had sold homes to. They were all past clients, but they were over at that point in time, started in 91. So it would have been over the 16, 17 years of production. So I'd ask if you knew my name. If you replied yes, I'd say, "Oh, thank goodness, I didn't think you did. Reason why is I hadn't received a referral from you. And it's really unusual to not get a referral, but that's 100% my fault. I'd like to know if I can fix that." If you said no, I'd say, "Doesn't surprise me. I've done a terrible job following up and keeping in touch with you. Is it too late to fix that?" Anyway, this coach and I really worked good together because he was direct, kept me on task, pushed me harder. He did what coaches are supposed to do, right? Got me to do things I didn't normally do on my own. So I had reached out to him. I had him speak the other day in my office back in early December, I think it was. And we had set a lunch date to get together after the New Year's. And I hired him to coach me again get me going back on the agent attraction side. So I'm pretty excited about that one myself. Wanted to share that with you. Mostly because, again, having something to believe in, buy into. I love Courted. I think the program's great. I love the information I get from it. I love what's available to me. But now it's how to maximize it. And one of the things that I was challenged with, and I'm kind of curious for you, is there a criteria of what you're looking for in agents? Because my initial thought when I set up Courted, they asked me this: we need to put the criteria, and what kind of agents are you looking for? My initial response was, it didn't really matter, because I'm not the broker. I'm not responsible for everything pertaining to this agent. So I wasn't sure it mattered. And I was kind of curious, what's your take on that? Do you have a specific criteria for the type of agents that you guys are trying to attract?
My answer to that would be someone who wants to double their business. And that might sound like it doesn't mean too much, but does it really mean something for someone to double their business if they're not doing any business? So like for me, that kind of eliminates those who aren't doing any business. Because I've already focused enough time trying to help people not doing any business. And I mean, fact is, those who want to do business are going to figure out a way, one way or another, to do it. And those who aren't, which unfortunately is far more people, they're just going to spin a lot of wheels, waste their time, and waste yours in the process. If you're a part of that, is what I found out. Most of who I want, I don't want people who are new to the business. I don't want people who aren't productive. I want people who are productive. And I'm not really saying it has to be one threshold or another. It might be someone doing 10 deals who wants to get to 20. It might be someone who's already doing 30 deals and they want to figure out how they can start building a team and get to 50 or 60 or whatever the case is. But for me, that's who it is. And really, it's the kind of person that would respond to the ads and material I'm putting out, because that's who it's meant to speak to. So anyone that kind of comes through that filter, it tends to do its work to make sure I'm talking to more of the right people than not. And so that's for me what the process is. For you, can't you filter according to production?
What's that?
On the platform you're using, can't you filter according to production?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah. I can filter based on tenure, production, rising, dropping. I can put any kind of criteria in there. So what you're saying is that the type of ads and the method that you're using is naturally built to attract the people that you're interested in. It's going to it's beginning the filtering process for you.
Yeah, it kind of filters out the people it wouldn't be for on the front end. Like, so because I'm finding I literally don't end up talking to people who aren't productive. Like, they just don't even make it through my filter.
And so how many people is your process how many people are you talking to on a daily basis?
Oh, say that again. I think I lost you.
Yeah, we had a little blip there. So what is the anticipated number of conversations you're going to have on a daily basis?
I mean, it can be hit or miss any day. It can be 0, it can be 3. Sometimes it does depend if I decide to pick up the phone that day or not, because
Well, I understand if you don't do it, but I mean, your system is generating lead opportunities for you.
Yes.
So what's that daily count? What's the range?
I mean, it's usually between 1 and 3.
Okay. But those people have been filtered through. So by the time you're talking to them, what is it? What's your understanding, or what's your belief in that person? Like, who are they? Why are you talking to them, etc.? Like, what do you anticipate from that?
I'm talking to them because they're wanting to, figure out how my team and I can help them get more business in the pipeline.
Okay.
So that's the premise of our conversation. And then from there, sometimes it makes sense to continue the conversation as far as how we could potentially align and help them with that goal. And there's other people who, for one reason or another, that's not the case. Like, for instance, I talked to a guy yesterday who ended up in my filter, but he's not an agent. He's a mortgage broker. So he does a lot of mortgage business. But there still was some kind of way we could collaborate there. It just wasn't the route that would lead to him being someone who's actually a part of my organization. But just that's one example, though, is as sometimes you don't really know. Like, it's not someone that specifically like, hey, an agent that's looking to double. I mean, he wants to double his business on the mortgage side, but nonetheless, I'm trying to connect with agents, brokers. Sometimes someone else ends up in the pipeline like that. But on the flip side, it's also not just agents. I mean, I spoke with a broker, I think Friday, and his goal is to get 20 agents, into his firm by the end of the year and double it the year after that. So that's kind of like right on track on who my target audience is on the broker side of things, because that's a broker trying to double his business. So so it's effective for me too, in getting in front of people like that.
So speaking of brokers, you care if I switch gears a little?
Yeah, I mean, we're just having a conversation here, right?
Good. So did you see Remax that Amy Lessinger gave her resignation and resigned from Remax? Now, you may not know Amy. I don't know.
I don't know anything about her other than what the article said on the headline. So
yeah, so she was a former broker owner. In my peer group, if you will, lovely person, and she closed her brokerage or sold her brokerage. I don't know exactly what that transition was originally, but then she went into corporate, went into selling and franchises and managing a territory, et cetera, et cetera. And then voila, one day she appeared as president of Remax, which was quite fascinating. Now, Remax has had a long run of some challenges with their leadership positions. I don't know who exactly makes all the decisions these days. I'm no longer there, of course. I've been told by some friends that are still there that I'm in communication with that it's still Liniger pulling all the strings and making all the decisions as the founder and still a large shareholder of the organization. But anyway, she just resigned because, I guess, from her mouth to some other ears, that position is just a puppet to them. They're not interested in what the president has to say, just simply need a president so that they have a face. I'll tell you what, it rubs me because this is a great organization. RE/MAX is a phenomenal brand. It's a phenomenal company full of phenomenal brokers, incredibly passionate brokers that are working their tails off. And I think enough is enough. Until the brokers stand up and push back and say enough is enough, we need a voice, we need somebody who's an advocate for us, and we need to be involved. And I tried. I don't know if you knew this, but I formed the RE/MAX Franchisee Association back before I left them. And the idea behind it was to unite the broker owner voice so that headquarters listened to us, heard us, and we didn't have a fragmented voice. It wasn't to a coup. It was simply so that we could participate in this company. I guess I'm bringing this up because I'm sad to see that this thing continues to be a tailspin. It's a great organization. I have 32 years of history there, my entire real estate career before EXP. And man, I'm just disappointed in it. I don't know. Tyler, I honestly, I can't predict the future of any organization, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, without some sort of change, that brings it down to the street level where the broker owner, that's the problem. The broker owner there is just the broker. They're just going broke. They're not making money. And so many of them, I don't know, I find it sad. Just a topic in the real estate world that I just wanted to talk about a bit. I find it disappointing. I find it sad because I have such a long tenure and I have so many great friends that are there that are doing everything they can as brokers to make the organization look good despite the challenges it's happening, despite the continuous loss of agents. I just saw Ron Rose just left in Michigan. He's a very successful team leader, broker owner of a RE/MAX office in Detroit. He just left and went to Real. It's just happening all over the place, and they don't seem to have a plug for the whole.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, I don't know. That's all new information for me, but that's definitely your world, not really mine in terms of I honestly don't even know that much about RE/MAX aside from just kind of what I've seen and heard from some different agents who have been there or are there. So but yeah, I mean, obviously a massive organization, to build that kind of agent count and that kind of brand name globally. I mean, the RE/MAX, KW, those are probably the two biggest brands in the industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, Keller Williams is definitely the largest. RE/MAX, I don't know if they're the second largest at this point. I can't honestly tell you that. I know that they were behind Keller Williams at about 110,000 globally, where KW was around 135, 150,000 globally. But RE/MAX is doing still very well in Europe, but really struggling in the US, and their European operations are owned by a group out of Canada called RE/MAX Integra. They're the master franchise holder for that whole territory. But yeah, it's just disappointing. They seem to be more focused on the Goliath headquarters building and doing things the way that they've always done it and not making the proper adjustments. And I think the real sad piece of it is they have yet to, if you asked RE/MAX leadership who their customer is, believe it or not, they can't tell you. And the reason why I say they can't tell you is because they're going to give you two answers. They're going to tell you, we serve the agents that serve the community, and we serve the broker owners that serve that own the offices, and you can't have two masters, right? You work for somebody. So as the franchisor, I think that their customer is the franchisee, and that the agent is the customer of the franchisee, and the consumer is the customer of the agent. And if they could start there and just articulate that we are here to serve the agent, or the broker owner, excuse me, and the broker owner serves the agents, man, that would change the game for that organization. But I know here in Indiana, when I left them, their business went down the next quarter 25%, and at this point it's down still roughly about 40% from when I was last there in August of 21. And that's just in Indiana, with 70% of their offices in Indiana have less than 20 agents. And you can't have an office can't have 20 agents and make money. It just doesn't work in that franchise model. It takes probably 30 agents to break even, and mid 30s to 40s. And that's still you as the broker owner having a job, meaning you're turning on the lights in the morning. You maybe have one full-time to part-time staff person, depending on what you're paying them. But anyway, I'm just sad by it, because I love the organization and I love a lot of those people, and I've made tremendous friends over the years. So I find it disappointing. But on the flip side, thrilled where I am, love this organization, love the people I'm involved with. So what else? What have you seen? What's going on out there that you want to talk about in the world of real estate?
Hey, I'm just curious. I came across there was this podcast I was listening to where this guy was interviewed, and I've heard him before, but he was kind of sharing some of his background, which I didn't even know this about his background, but apparently he used to be a real estate broker owner within the RE/MAX organization in Indiana. And he's like in the personal development space now or something. But his name's John Assaraf. Like, do you know who that is? Or
John Assaraf, yeah. So John was he's out of Canada, and John was I think this is his description, so don't take me as putting down John. He was kind of a punk kid who got involved in some gang activity, and eventually got himself a real estate license, and worked for RE/MAX Integra, the one I just mentioned. Was a franchise, or actually was a realtor, did very well at real estate, sold a decent amount of real estate, then went on to sell franchises. They actually gave John, it's so funny you bring this up, they gave John 10% of Indiana for him to come out here and open it up and get it started. So John came out here and sold franchises in Indiana, and he was financially doing pretty well, pretty fancy kind of guy, tall, good looking, handsome guy, with a Canadian accent. Came out here to Indy, started selling franchises. My franchise that I own was the first one he sold, franchise 01. And he sold it to my former business partner, Tom. And then John was here until he got here in 88, 87, 88, and he probably left 91, 92-ish. Went out to California, started a virtual tour company. Can't remember the name of it. And then he wrote the book with Bob. What's Bob's last name? Anyway, a sales trainer. They wrote a book called The Secret and did the film on The Secret. And he's had some other businesses. I've lost track of him now, but yes, I know Johnny Assaraf.
Oh, that's crazy, because that's how I had heard of him, was from The Secret, and he just happened to be on a podcast like as the guest, and I was listening to it, and he was sharing more of his background. I'm like, that's interesting. He was involved with RE/MAX Indiana. That's crazy. I wonder if Jimmy knows him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Like I said, I haven't seen him in, I can't even tell you how many years it's been since I've seen John. But he's done, I believe, very well for himself. I know he he may have even taken one of our beautiful Hoosier females with him out to California. I'm not. I know he was kind of a ladies' man when he was here, and I'm not sure, but I think he ended up with a child from Indiana, and I think he may have ended up with a wife from Indiana. I can't swear to that part. But anyway, yeah, he's a good guy. I haven't seen him, like I said, in, forever and a day, but I can't remember the virtual tour company. It was one of the ones that came out early, and he was really, really he did really good. He was very successful.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
neat.
The Secret was wildly popular. I'm assuming you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wildly popular. So a lot of people followed it. We used to watch it quite frequently here in the office, with the agents, and just getting them to believe in and start to manifest the life that they wanted to live, the career, the family life, and all of the various things. And I'm a proponent of that. I don't think you wake up and believe you're going to do X, Y, or Z, and then it happens tomorrow. But I do believe when you begin thinking about the right things and familiarize yourself with then you take steps, and those steps can be little steps that lead to other things. No different than this Whoop for me. It's a tiny little step, and the Whoop all in of itself would not make me 25 pounds lighter like I'd like to be, but it is a step, and it brings awareness and consciousness to my health journey and what I'm wanting to do, that I wouldn't have that consciousness if I didn't have the Whoop. So I do believe all that stuff adds up. There's a compounding effect.
Yeah. I mean, there very much is, validity to, taking thoughts and putting it into motion, and, having something, like, I guess for you, it's the Whoop with the fitness stuff, but there's always something to that. Even just putting pen to paper and putting a plan in place to make a goal happen, and then taking the first step of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, there's stats out there. Maybe you know them, but if you have a goal in your mind, you have X% better chance of achieving it. If you put it on paper, it's exponentially greater. If you tell someone what your goal is, it's exponentially greater. I mean, there is data out there because of just the very notion that when you think about something, if you write it and you see it and then you talk about it, then you tend to find yourself in situations where you can have conversations with other people about it. I tell new agents getting in the business, one of the things I tell them to do is go preview homes. Figure out an area that you want to work geographically, price range, it doesn't matter, but find some place and every time, especially right now when you have such thin market, every time something comes up on the market in that area, go see it. Go look at it, go take a look, walk through it, etc. Because if you know all the properties for sale in that price range, that geographical area, etc., you'll be somewhere at a coffee shop and someone will say something, or you'll be at a dry cleaners or wherever, out for a walk, meet somebody, and somebody will make a comment about a neighborhood, and if you're familiar with it, you'll now be able to talk about it. And if you can talk about it, then you've put yourself in a different position with that person. Not that you're trying to close them, but just your knowledge gives somebody comfort to have a conversation with you that they may not have otherwise had. Many agents I have coached have achieved business just from that simple notion of familiarize yourself. It puts something top of mind that you can talk about. No different than wear a logo shirt. If you don't know people in the industry, if you're new to the business, make sure you have a logo so that somebody's going to ask you a question. Top of mind leads to opportunity.
Yeah, having conversation starters goes a long way, online and offline. Offline, you can have a name tag you wear around, or a shirt with your company, your brand logo on it, something that starts the conversation. And online, it's just putting content out there that it relates to what it is you're doing or want to do. This is a way too. I've told people, that wonder, hey, I want to work with more luxury clients. Well, start going around and touring luxury homes, and then make sure you're posting content about it. I mean, the more you do that, the more people will associate you, and you just might run into someone who would buy a kind of home like that if you're putting yourself in places where people like that go.
It's, my first conversation with anybody who asks me that when they say I want to do luxury, because man, over the last 10 years, I think everybody made the comment, I want to do more luxury. My first thing is, okay, that's great. So I got a few questions for you. So if you want to sell luxury, Tyler, where do you go on Friday nights and Saturday nights? Where do you hang out?
Where do I hang out?
Yeah.
My house.
Okay. But let's just role play. So
yeah.
So if you sold me as an agent that you wanted to sell more luxury homes, I'd ask you where you go. And if you told me you're hanging out at Friday nights, you're going to Outback or BW3s or American Legion or some little hole in the wall tavern, and that's your normal Friday, Saturday kind of weekend routine, then my first thing is you need to put yourself in the place where the customer you're looking for is. So you need to dress the part. If your customer wears a suit to work, then you need to wear a suit. If your customer is hanging out at Ruth's Chris or some, martini bar or, whatever, and you're going out on the weekends, you need to go to the place where your customer is, and you need to be consistent. There is no benefit to occasionally showing up somewhere if it's also work related. Now, maybe for fun, that's great. But if your routine needs to be Fridays, I go this place, and that way you get to know people, your face becomes familiar. When your face becomes familiar, somebody can have a conversation with you because they're not threatened by you because they recognize you. But you got to go to the place where your customer is. If you want a Ruth's Chris client and you're hanging out at American Legion, you aren't getting a Ruth's Chris client. And it's just that simple. So people put themselves, they've got to put themselves into place. And some folks are like, well, what if I can't afford? Okay, fine. Then don't go to Ruth's Chris, but go somewhere else. If your client is if you want to raise your average sales price, maybe you need to hang out at the Starbucks that's closest to the expensive neighborhoods that you want to work, because that's the Starbucks that the dads are going to hit on the way to work, the moms are going to get hit on the way to work, or somebody's going to go to on the way to yoga, or whatever the case may be. But you can go there and get your $5 or $6 or $7 cup of coffee at that Starbucks just as easy as you can that's near a neighborhood that has a totally different demographic. And you can be seen in that neighborhood and seen in that community. You need to shop at the grocery store that's near the neighborhood you want to work so that you may bump into somebody. These things are, you're going to buy groceries. You can buy them near your house. If you're renting, and if you're a younger agent just getting started, you're renting in an apartment, you can go buy groceries at the grocery store near your apartment, or you could go buy groceries near the neighborhood you want to farm and want to list homes in, right? You can go to the Starbucks by your place. You can go to the Starbucks by there. You can go to the gas stations. You can go to the dry cleaners. All the various places that you go, you can go build relationships that have a greater chance of leading you to an opportunity in a neighborhood you're farming, or you can take convenience.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's just that simple, right?
Yeah, but change your environment, put yourself around more of the people you want to be around. That's really it.
Put yourself in a position to meet the people that you need to meet. And listen, I'm not saying that as insincerity, right? I'm not suggesting you just go pretend to be. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is put yourself in a position to meet the people. Familiarize yourself with that marketplace, right? Tour the homes, and then put yourself in that community so that the community begins to see you. then you become a resource and you become somebody that people are comfortable with. Because if I tour the homes and I've got my, Clubhouse RE logo on, and then I go to the Starbucks and after I tour, I go over there and I do all my feedback and this, that, and the other, and I have a Clubhouse RE logo and I've got a logo on my car or anything else, people begin to see it and they say, well, this guy's in real estate and he does business in my community. I keep seeing him. It's just that simple.
Yep.
I don't know, buddy. 35 years. It just, I'd say I'd write a book, but I've already done that. So, it's just, we agents tend to make it more difficult than it needs to be.
Oh yeah. Easy to overthink things and underdo.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's just, I'm having, I know I've talked about this so many times, buddy. So if I bore you, just put your handgun to your head up there and I'll know to quit. But I am having so much fun with my boy because I'm just starting to see all the stuff that I spew and talk about with agents. He is listening to me and doing it. Not always perfect, et cetera. There's times when he fights me on it, but for the most part, he's doing the very things that I've told him that a person needs to do to build their business. And man, I can just see that pipeline. It's like a pot of boiling water, and it's just starting to get the little dots coming up, the little bubbles coming up. And soon it's going to be this ravage boil, and that kid's just going to be on fire, and dad's going to be so proud. It's going to be like probably one of the greatest moments in my career, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, me too. And not to mention, because it's my son, but also, it's a current example where you can explain to an agent how you can help them.
Yeah.
Speaking of, have you put together a one-page value proposition type of thing for your team, like what your team, what your group, what you guys can do to help somebody?
I basically have a slide deck, so I guess it could be a one pager, but yeah, essentially.
Any chance you'd share that with me?
Yeah, I can share it for you. I can share it with you. Obviously, I feel like some of it may or may not be as applicable, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I just had one of our agents ask us if I had a one pager, something that I could give them for them to share with agents that they're talking to of that why Clubhouse RE. And so that just happened over the weekend. So I'm going to work on it, but sometimes just seeing what other people have done is very helpful in creating your own. So just be kind of curious to see what you've done and put that together.
Sure.
I actually think I'm also going to do a movie night next week and I think I'm going to do a movie night here in the office and do popcorn and the whole 9 yards and watch The Secret.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that'd be fun. Maybe a little popcorn and some maybe little finger foods and stuff, and set it up. Tell everybody to just show up in their casual sweats, etc. Come comfy and ready to chill out and watch The Secret.
Yeah, that sounds like a solid idea right there.
Yeah, we've got like a 65-inch screen out here in a big, comfortable environment with sofas that seats about 20, where people can just kind of chill out and get their head going the right direction beginning of the year. So I'm glad we talked about that. I'm gonna do that. I think that might be a good one. We have euchre this Wednesday. You play euchre?
I don't know what that is.
I didn't think you would. It's a Midwest game. It's you're familiar with spades?
Not really, no.
But you've heard of spades.
Yeah.
Okay. That's typical. So euchre's just kind of a card game that us Midwesterners play, and but anyway, it's something. I always host a euchre tournament in the wintertime. Gives people something to come in here and do, and we've still got quite a bit of snow out there, so it's nice to have a fun activity that we can all do.
Yeah, that's good.
Kind of like every week I put a pot of, I make a pot of homemade soup. I've got a big 13-quart Dutch oven. Last week we had ham and beans. This week I've got baked potato soup on the oven. So, or excuse me, on the stove, not on the oven, on the stove. Little things that I do differently in the summer or the winter time than I do in the summertime.
Sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep things a little more warm there with all the cold out.
Yeah, and it gives people, they think to themselves, oh man, I don't really want to go into the office. And they're like, oh well, you know what? I know Doolin's going to have some homemade soup in there, so when I get there, I'll warm up with that. So
yeah, that's a good draw to the office. Have a reason for people to come in.
I sell everybody on food, man. That's my love language is food, and food.
Yeah, but what else are we seeing out there in the realm of real estate right now? Anything come to mind?
Well, I've had several agents tell me that they're people that have put things on hold, at least emotionally or mentally, are starting to circle back now and have conversations about that. So I'm seeing some positivity from that. Our December was pretty low. We didn't have a lot of closings in December. So it was a low closing month for us as an organization, but I do see, I do feel that there's some momentum out there and some certainly some enhanced opportunity.
Yeah, I get a sense that things are shaping up well, at least for a lot of the people I am speaking with to kick the year off right now. So, um, yeah, I'm hoping there will be more activity and more deals to be had here in the year ahead than we've seen the last couple. That would be really nice for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think that everybody's ready for some improvement. It wasn't like a desolate market, but certainly there is stuff that could happen that could enhance. I mean, we just get energy prices to drop, and the everything starts going the right direction. Because if we drop energy, then we get inflation under control. And look, rates are going to be the last thing that makes any kind of adjustment, but rates are going to feel cheaper if the price of gas and the price of a loaf of bread are cheaper. So even if the rate isn't reduced, if your overall out-of-pocket expense is reduced, then it still has that effect. So I'm excited about all that, and excited and hopeful that that's exactly what we're up against here.
Yep, likewise.
Well, my friend, I don't know what's on your agenda this week, but I'm going to play some euchre. I'm going to eat some potato soup. I'm going to talk to some realtors, and I'm going to plan a movie night. And let's see here. New starts for me in 2025. I had yoga on Saturday, so I just got started with that. I'm going to keep this Whoop thing going. Got yoga tonight, and I'm going to start Krav Maga. You familiar with it?
Never heard of that.
It's an Israeli defense tactic. So it's kind of like martial arts, but it's a very simplified. Doesn't have the formalities of it. It's more of just a hand-to-hand defense protection. I'm doing it for the exercise piece of it. So
okay,
those are new things on the docket for me in 25. Anything new you want to share?
Yeah, anything new? I mean, yeah, not really. I'm already like just starting the year off consistent with fitness, but that's nothing new. I ended the year consistent, so I can't really think of anything new in terms of things I'm changing going in the year ahead. Just if anything, more consistent with some of the key things that will move the needle in my business. Going to record a few YouTube videos this week. It's been months since I recorded a single one, so getting that pipeline rolling again, and getting some things in place to help the key leaders in my organization really see their stride and growth this year. So I'm super excited about that, but just getting some things together, that will help, more of the right people in my group excel and grow.
I think it's awesome, man. I think we do have to continue to identify who are those right people and how can we help them. And how you're doing it is great. Anybody who's got the opportunity that's fortunate enough to be in your downline is really lucky to have somebody who's as committed as you are. So I myself am after the same thing, man. Every year I just like to try to get a little bit better at my trade. So I'm looking forward to starting coaching with my former coach, soon to be my coach again. I know he'll put a lot of pressure on me. I think we had 2 agents join last week, so maybe, that's another thing we could do is maybe talk about growth in our organizations on a weekly basis and kind of check in on that, see if we're doing the right things, and just kind of maybe the life we're professional life we're choosing to live and how we're doing it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Who knows with these podcasts, my friend, we just keep evolving, right? And sooner or later we'll figure out who we want to be and what we are. And with these podcasts, and as long as we're having fun, which I do enjoy catching up with you, it's almost like a weekly phone call with a friend. Just, hey, what's going on in your world?
Yeah, and other people can listen in. So maybe we'll bring more people in the conversation as more people listen in, especially if anyone wants to leave us a comment. And let us know what's on your mind kind of going into the year ahead here. What are you excited about?
Yeah, exactly. So this is Jimmy Doolin and Tyler Royke with Agent Broker Conversations. And like Tyler said, if you've got comments or things that are on your mind for 2025 that you want to talk about or want to hear others talk about, or heck, if you'd like to be a guest and come on here with us, we'd love to have you. So feel free to make comments. Please like the show and share it if you can. And but until next week, have a great week, and we will be back next week with a whole new episode and an update on where we are with our 2025 aspirations, goals, desires, etc. Take care.